All right. Welcome back to another episode of Rivals on the Pitch. World Cup is still going on. First round of games is officially done. We just started into the second round. We're going to give our thoughts on what team disappointed, what team caught us by surprise, our, going into the controversy as well with the hydration breaks and all that stuff. And of course, we're not going to forget about the Prem. The Prem is still going on. Even though the World Cup is on, the transfer window is open, and there is some business going for our respective clubs and clubs in the league as well. But more importantly, we're going to talk about Liverpool and Spurs. The other guy's not here, but then we'll get into the World Cup. Everybody wins, right? At least we got something to talk about for our teams. But then we'll also speak about our international teams as well. But there you go. I'm Randy. I'm supporting Liverpool and USA and Ecuador. But,
and everybody in the World Cup.
Yeah, and England too. Why not? Let's go with those three. Why not?
And
got backup plans.
Yeah, repping Tottenham and Los Cafeteros Colombia. And every other team in the World Cup. Certain ones.
Iran.
Argentina,
boludo.
Because I'm a hater. But anyways, should we start with the World Cup or should we start with some transfer and end with the World Cup?
Let's just get in with the transfers. That's going to be a short segment anyways. Not a lot happened.
Wow,
for Spurs, a lot has happened. But...
Hey, we are hitting the market like we want to be as far away from 17 as possible. And guess what? Where that is? First place. Can we? Is it possible? 2026, 2027 champions. I like the sound of that. No asterisks.
The first clean season, I guess. Then
so we actually, for Tottenham, we've actually have had a pretty, I wouldn't say it's busy. Business is kind of getting done, but it's a lot more rumors and actual official signings. But we have officially announced Marco Senesi and Anthony Robertson to the club, as also for our free transfers, right? They're free agents. So we kind of knew those are coming. But we actually finalized, since last week, the deal with, I forgot this kid's name.
What?
Van Hecken.
Oh, he ain't no kid. I thought you were talking about like one of your loan. Yeah, but
I forget his full name. Van Hecken. So our center back, we got him. He's been officially announced. So we'll have the
black guy, right?
The two Dutchmen back there leading the lines, because we did launch our kits already this Friday. It's actually today. And guess who's not there promoting the video? Promoting the jersey, the kit.
He's probably watching his boyhood club.
Yeah, he's probably.
Their season's over.
Everyone's like, oh, well, he was, he's playing the World Cup. I was like, yeah, but Van der Ven and Kevin Danso are there as well. They had time. Sure, Romero probably left as soon as the club were safe, went back to get treatment. You would I feel like they would find a way to put him in, especially as a team captain. Exactly. So I think that's a little bit of forecasting. Seems like he's gonna be at the door, but I think we've done pretty well replacing him with Van Hecken, Senesi. So we kind of fortified that back line. But what's really interesting is we are linked to Sandro Tonali, and it seemed like impossible, or it seemed people were kind of discrediting it, but then it came out with David Ornstein, and people kind of don't like Fabrizio Romano anymore. But when David Ornstein kind of speaks, people are like, hey, they don't talk just the talks. He reported on it, and he also reported on Mateus Fernandez from West Ham, which Man United were in for him. But some of the stuff, I don't know how true it is. This is what I hate about transfer windows, is you go into a little rabbit hole of hearsays and people sourcing people who don't really, or people sourcing people, even though they didn't say anything, they'll source them just to make themselves credible. But they were saying that United might have some cash flow issues, leaving Tottenham with the opportunity to sign Mateus Fernandez. And there was slight links. These are less reliable sources, but Adam Morton was also linked to Tottenham. We still, Savinho seems like it's going to be a done deal. It's just a matter of getting things done with Manchester City, which I thought that was going to be the one that was going to be done first, to be honest. I think Vicario might be out the door, because I think Kinski has now been officially said to be the number one keeper by De Zerbi. This is coming from Romano Fabrizio Romano, De Zerbi sees Kinski as number one keeper, which is
Yeah.
we were all kind of wondering like, okay, what's going to be the game plan? A lot of us thought that there was going to be a goalkeeper coming in the summer, and then he had his little redemption arc, and we figured, okay, maybe
What was
he's
it?
good. Some people are on the fence with him though. Some people think he's a little bit unreliable or not fully proven yet, and some people think that like, yeah, he's good, great with his feet. That's what we want, and I'm kind of in the boat of give him a chance,
Agree.
but he's so young that do you sign someone younger than him or do you sign a competent too? Like how Arsenal signed Kepa. You guys had not Conor Gallagher. You had
Kelleher.
Kelleher. I think like someone like that that's willing to play behind him. Sure, but
I mean, Ramsdale, whatever. He's the guy who's always being tossed around. He is
yeah,
Premier League, and I mean, he'll probably accept that to get out of relegation.
that's true
But
because yeah, you're right.
and he would be good for the cup runs, whatever. It's a solid backup. Because
I
I mean,
think it
I
would
do
be.
agree with you with Kinski. I think he is much more reliable than Vicario, and you got to give the guy time to prove himself. He could do it. You
Yeah,
just can't base it off of that one game. That you know
and I mean, I
that's too
think
much.
no, and I think we're past that game too. It's just some of the shots you see because I know in the Chelsea game, I felt like there was that first goal, that first shot. I think he could have saved it. He should have saved it. But then again, he is 22, 23. He's in the goalkeeper world. That's fairly young.
Yeah.
So, but if we're improving the 10 outfielders, then I'm okay with keeping Kinski back there. If not upgrading a goalkeeper means that we have Mateus Fernandez and Sandro Tonali in the midfield, so be it. I'll take that all day.
I mean,
Like
you
I'm
already
not
you
gonna
already
argue.
upgraded your defense, so that's already another
Yep,
solid block.
exactly.
So that helps him out as a goalkeeper, having that
He might.
solid backup. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think that'd be great.
apparently, having good defense makes you a better keeper. So
Yeah.
even though the saves aren't there.
Exactly. That's why I didn't pick
Uh,
Raya as my goalkeeper of the season.
But yeah, so I'm excited. This is kind of the transfer moves that we were kind of hoping for when we got the news last season that Daniel Levy has been fired or has stepped down, or whatever the case is. This is kind of what we didn't expect it in the summer, but when we were in sort of that trouble where we had a lot of injuries, we figured, okay, we'll make some splashes in the winter. I meant winter.
Yeah.
We didn't expect it in the winter. So until we came up to the winter and then we had some injuries, we figured, okay, maybe now's the time to act like that club. You got rid of Daniel Levy, have a good winter, secure your position in the league, with some signings in the winter. But that didn't happen, and we were all kind of questioning, okay, so is nothing going to happen now that Daniel Levy's gone? But since so far, I mean, this is kind of how last window came out. We had links to Muhammad Kudas, Morgan's good boy, Eze's, and we know how that turned out.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna get too excited, but it is nice to know that we're out there making moves, and De Zerbi has pointing out players. They're all kind of Premier League proven, which
Which is smart.
is smart, but I think you also end up paying a whole lot for these players.
Yeah, I did that too.
But if you want to survive a season, that's probably what you want to do, right? Cover the team with premier proven talent that know the league, that are successful in the league. That way, you can avoid being bottom half of the table and you can shoot for that top half, top six again. And then if we do end up doing that, then that's when you start taking those chances with these younger players across different
Yeah.
leagues where it's kind of like how Liverpool's moving right now with their transfer window.
Spend
But
now, and then you can spend less later on because you basically got the foundation. All you're doing is just
and
adding
the
little bits of it, and
Yep.
then you'll be
And
fine.
we got young talent. We got Archie Gray,
Yeah.
Lucas Bergval. So we have, Javi Simmons is still pretty young. We still have these young guys that we can develop that can turn into replace some of these guys that we're signing now. And see, it's it.
You're happy though.
Every day I check. We were only 4 days into the window, and I'm like, man, why are we signing anyone? It is happy to see that. And I love it because Newcastle fans when we were linked to Tonali, they were so upset. They're like, how is it a team that's been 15th twice in a row think that they can buy our players? This is such a joke. And then David Ornstein came out with his report about it. And they're like, oh my God, this is actually real. This really, and it's so funny to see the meltdown on the internet.
Well, I mean, Newcastle keeps melting down. I mean, they have more
Oh,
stuff to be upset about.
I know. I thought we had a bad transfer window last season, but they can't catch a break because Liverpool keeps stealing their players,
Yeah.
and then they're the ones they have already. They're being linked out to other clubs, so they are
Yeah.
not happy campers over there in Liverpool. I mean, in
Right,
Newcastle.
Newcastle, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not happy as well in Liverpool, but I mean, it's looking good. I mean, we don't have the transfers that you have yet, but at least we did get one signing, Victor Munoz from
Yeah, yeah.
Os. I forgot the
Osana
name.
or
Yeah, I keep thinking of Osuna.
Osuna. I think it is Osuna.
Yeah, Osasuna
Osasuna.
from La Liga. Yeah, but he's from the Barcelona La Masa, and then he also played for Real Madrid as well. But what? He's 22 years old. Newcastle we're talking to him. They were just wise stuff stalling, and then Liverpool comes up with the 45 million, which is a release clause, and we get it done. It's
Hey,
just another sad thing for Newcastle. We take Isak from them. We take Ekatike from them. Now we're taking Munoz from them as well. But he's a winger, which is great. He plays on the left, but he can also play on the right as well. He's quick. He's got flair, so that's good. And I mean, for a 22-year-old to get 6 goals and 2 assists in La Liga, I mean,
you know,
it's good. It's decent, but I think it's showing that there's a future there.
I would be a little bit more skeptical with that signing. But then if you're telling me that Areola, if he wants him done, I'm not gonna argue with that. I've
Yeah,
seen what you done at Bournemouth. So if that's your guy, if that's the guy you want, that's the guy I want because I feel like I'm sure the sporting directors or technical directors or whatever their positions are called, they're the ones eyeing some of this, scouting some of
yeah.
these players, and they have an eye for talent. But I'm sure he's doing what he want. I'm sure he has a say in that process, and he can see some of the talent. So I think that's a good one, especially with him, with that being your manager.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at our transfer rumors, we're going for Jan Diamande. He's 19 years old, so we're going for young players.
Oh, but he's so good.
Because that, I mean, it sucks. Whatever what he did against Ecuador sucks. But I
Oh
was like,
yeah,
sort of like happy and upset because he's like, this is what we need for Liverpool, but he's doing it to Ecuador, which sucks. He made
yeah.
Hincapié, the Arsenal
Oh
defender,
yeah,
completely lost.
silly.
I'm torn about it, but it sucks. But yeah, it's just showing that composure at the World Cup against a good South American team is just showing. I'm like, I hope we can get it done. I mean, Liverpool did send in a bid, I think, of 100. It did get rejected. I think
They
Real
sent. I
Red Bulls
think
is waiting for 120 is what they're looking for.
I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, about an hour or two ago, they sent a second bid.
I mean,
So
someone's not sleeping over there. But yeah, I think they're trying to get it done before the World Cup. But I think he might hold off until the World Cup is done to see it. Of course, it's him with PSG going at it, but Liverpool are the ones who actually made the bid and are actually trying to get things done. So that's good to see. But I mean, it's just I don't know. Maybe it's this Coutinho money we still got that interest from because that's a lot of money for I mean, how much you spent on Isaac, Verts, and then this we're going 100 mil 3 times. But I mean, he
yeah,
did show he's promising, and what he did show in the World Cup, phenomenal. But we're just waiting on trying to see what else happens. Then I mean, I want to get something done, maybe defensively. Want to get in a defender. I know Schlotterbeck is of course being rumored to Real Madrid, but that's because Mourinho wants to park the bus and he wants to get all the defenders possible. But I mean, Schlotterbeck did have a good World Cup. He scored a nice header, but we'll see. But that's as far as Liverpool. That's the only confirmed thing. The rumors are Darwin Nunez, which I would gladly take as well, but nothing concrete. It's like you said, a lot of he said, she said, trying to get the sources from unreliable people. But until I hear concrete evidence or something from some reliable sources, but till then, it's just waiting. At least we got one thing done.
I saw a rumor for Darwin Nunez to Newcastle.
I know they wanted him
Um,
as well. Even Chelsea, I heard, was looking at him. But there's a lot.
there's
He
this,
said, Darwin's like he would love to go back because he left because of slot. So there's a lot of these things that are slot, related. So I mean, I would gladly take him back, especially because he would be on a free transfer. But I mean, we'll see. It just seems like slot has been like almost a bad thing with these transfers. With Curtis Jones not getting game time. A lot of like even Mo Salah leaving, but we'll see, man. So far, so good with Victor Munoz.
There was
And I
another guy you
think
guys were.
Arsenal Nketiah, I think officially signed for
Oh, okay.
as well. So if anything, Pat's got something for Arsenal. Yeah, because there's a
Yeah.
loan deal with an option to buy, but I think they did pick up on that option.
Saw that the Juventus midfielder, French guy, Thuram.
Rabiot.
It's a midfielder from Juventus. Thuram. Anyways, he's been linked to Liverpool and Arsenal. I think mostly Liverpool, but a lot of people were shouting out his name for Tottenham to sign him because he's apparently a good midfielder. But I've seen him linked to Liverpool, and I've seen the midfielder from Roma. Kuhn?
Yeah, the one Mane, was it, or Monet? You should know by now. You keep sending me those
know, right?
things because I follow Roma, but I'm like I never.
Manu Kone, another Frenchman midfielder. But yeah, there's a lot of links to some of these leagues, and it's cool because these guys can bring a whole different side of the game to the sort of prem, and they become really successful. And that's one of the things that I wish we weren't stuck on just Premier League proven, but because you splash so much money when you do that, like look at Elliot Anderson, 120 being splashed. Man City is gonna pay 120 mil for Elliot Anderson and still try to go for Sandro Tonali.
Yeah,
that's awful. How's that fair?
And then you got Hull City, who's gonna get a point deduction because they couldn't get that get 5 million down for wages or something, and you got Man City, who's got 115 charges and still nothing is being done, and then they're splashing 120 for Elliot Anderson, and then they're going to splash more. They're going to break their own transfer window record again.
Do you know who said El Mala is? He plays for he plays in the Bundesliga. I think he had a good season. I think he's 19 years old.
I think I just recently heard it when I was like scrolling. I think his name did pop up a bit. 13
goals, 3 assists this season. Oh, he's from Cologne.
He's Germany, right? He scored in the World Cup, I believe.
He's in the Bundesliga. Yeah. Did he score?
Yeah, I think he did score. That's why I think he was. That was out of one of the 7 goals. But
I think we are in the race to try to sign him. I think you guys are in the race to try to sign him. It's kind of exciting. I love transfer season, but it's one of those where it's so slow. Yeah. All it is just rumors.
If it was just a regular summer, things would have been a little more, relaxed.
That's true.
More believable. But since it's a World Cup, and then of course World Cup, we just talked Diamande. His price evaluations go high. Mala? His price evaluation is going to go high. All these players are going to go, and it's just you're going to pay. They're all going to be, breaking transfer records with these players.
Yep. I think Tottenham will break their transfer record fee this year. It's just bound to happen. I don't know for who. Hopefully it's worth it, but we'll see. Arsenal is also linked to Morgan Rogers, which I hope not. I like him. I don't want to have to hate him, But if he goes, then hey, what? I'm gonna hate you. Hate you. But who else is? What are some big names leaving?
It's going.
Oh, Barcola's linked with everybody.
Linked with everyone.
Emi Martinez might be going to Juventus.
Heard that.
Allison is staying, isn't he?
Yeah, we're trying to get him to stay. We did pick up his option for the year. He wanted to go to Juventus, but we're trying to keep him. And then there's rumors that we were trying to bring back Kelleher back. We're trying to bring back Kwanzaa back. But this is stupid. We sold him for cheap, and then we have a buyback clause for like 50. It's like, bro, we sold him for half of that. How does this? And you're gonna pay more for him to come back than what we sold him for. It's weird, but I mean. It's like we should have never sold him in the beginning, but then of course that is the slot age selling these players. I didn't think he had belief in the academy players. He wanted, people with experience. But look at what he showed. Look at what he's done at Bayer Leverkusen. Look at what Kelleher should be the starting goalkeeper over Mamardashvili, but it is what it is.
We're about to be in the same predicament because I think we might be looking to sell Luka Viskovic to Brighton, the kid that we loaned out to Hamburg. Who was tearing? He's like the young player of the league, and he's at the point where he's like, I don't want to do any more loans. Like I want game time. So
Yeah,
I think
I
once
heard
we
that.
brought in Van Hecken, I think he's kind of pushing for a move to Brighton. And I'm like, I don't want to sell him. Like, I don't want to sell him because he's going to be a very good talent. You know, we saw him last season in preseason, and he scored
Yeah.
for us. And he's like a natural defender. He's a little slow. He does need to be polished, but he's only 19.
But that's what you're gonna work on. That's what you work on when you get game
Right?
time. And plus, like we said, it's okay if you have someone who's a little slow, but you got Van de Ven who's fast, so you got a nice little contrast there. So it balances itself out. I wouldn't mind. I mean, the thing is, like Jamie Carragher, he was a slow defender, but he had a good IQ, so he knew when to
Yeah.
tackle. He knew positioning wise. That could be him. He could,
But
what he'll
he
lack in
wants
speed, he'll make up in some other aspects.
he wants to play now. He wants to play now, and I don't think Deserby wants that. So, I would be okay with a loan. I would even be okay with a 2-year loan. You know, given that Brighton covers a lot of the wages. Sign him to an extension, send him off on loan for 2 years if that's what you want. Or even preferably a
Yeah, to
year,
play in
2 years.
Brighton, and then
Yeah, and they
you
did
can see
develop
that
players.
he's going to be in the Prem, so he knows what to expect.
Exactly.
Not like he's going to the Bundesliga or La Liga. He's going to be practicing where he's going to be playing in the future.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
But apparently he doesn't want to loan. And I'm like, because
He wants permanent.
he wants a permanent move. That's why I say 2 years then. You know what? 2 years, you basically feel like you're permanent because if we sell you to Brighton, Brighton's gonna play you for 2 years. They're gonna develop you, and guess what? Within 2 years, you're gonna get sold. You're gonna go.
Well, put that in there, get a percentage back from it.
So I think that's what they're trying to work out. That they might have a buyback clause where we have first dibs to buy him back, or a sell on clause where we get a percentage of whatever they sell him for. But I don't want to lose the talent, so sign him on like I said, extend his contract, give him a 2-year loan. Because guess what, dude? Go to Brighton permanently after 2 years. You're gonna move anyways. They're gonna sell you. That's what they do. All these, the
Hey,
Brentfords, Brightons
look at
of this league do.
Tottenham's history with injuries so far. You got a chance. Just ride the bench.
Exactly.
You could be that impact player. Someone could get injured, and guess what? You can be
But-
that makeshift, and then you can prove it, bro. Look, I'm ready now. But yeah, I mean,
we did
it
bring in
sucks.
two. Well, I guess we're losing Romero, but we did bring in 2 center backs, and even Deserby said, "Oh well, we have the flexibility now to play 3 in the back, so formation might change." But I really wish, I really, really, really hope we don't lose him.
No.
If he goes out, go on loan, dude. Just accept the loan and give us a chance. But I feel like if we sell him, we're gonna regret it, and I don't want to do that. But we shall see. We shall see how this plans out. Like I said, if we sign Mateus Fernandez and Sandro Tonali to that midfield, that's gonna make it a lot easier to say goodbye to these guys. So if he wants to, if after that if he leaves, I might not even notice. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Until he's over there.
And with that, that's it. You call it a season. You happy with that transfer window, or you'd still want Savinho, and then that's it, or you want more?
Savinho. If I had an option, I know I said Tonali was my dream signing, but for some reason I wasn't really thinking about Wharton. I felt like Wharton was gonna be too high. But now that they're talking about being in the same price range, I feel like I kind of would rather have Wharton. Mateus Fernandez, he seems like a good player. He's like an overall great midfielder, with playing that box to box too. But someone mentioned Tonali was more of like a better Conor Gallagher, and I can't unsee it. And I'm kind of like, he kind of is. And then it just messed me up in my head. I'm like, damn, so we're going to have the same profile player over and over and over again. So now in my head, I'm like, you know what? I think Wharton is going to be a lot better. Mateus Fernandez could be a lot helpful. And then we still need winger. So either you sacrifice one of those midfielders and go for winger, or splash a little bit more cash, get Savinho. Because to me, Savinho, for him, he can play on the left and the right. Yeah. So if he can cover down for Kudus, you still have Matthijs Tel that can cover down the left. Even Javi Simmons, when he gets healthy, he can play on the left.
Yeah.
Or if Kudus is back, he's on track to be back for the beginning of the season. You put Savinho on the left, and he's got cover. And then you can put Savinho. I think you can also put him in the midfield if needed. So he's a player that I would love to have. He's a little pricey for that 50 million, 60 million. I don't want to pay that. I mean, it's not my money, so I don't really care. But I don't want to tie up money on this player that we could be spending elsewhere. I would like him cheaper, because I think he will fit, but he just hasn't produced that well for Man City, so he's on the bench a lot.
Yeah.
So to pay that much for a player that hasn't started, it's kind of ridiculous. But I think he'll fit us a lot better than he does City.
So
It's
long
gonna be a
for that
good.
short segment, right?
All
Good
right,
luck.
it's gonna be a good a season.
Summer.
I think if this summer turns out the way it's supposed to, it's seems like it will
Hey,
be.
sounds familiar. Sounds like what I said last season. On paper, it
right.
looks great, and then what happened? Oh man, forget about it.
What I do like is that De Zerbi has played in this league. De Zerbi has won in this
Yeah.
league. He might not have had the funds or the support from Brighton, to have the project that he wanted, and that's why they had their falling out. So hopefully, I still think we gave him a little too much power. I still think we gave De Zerbi
Hey,
the
it
keys
was
to the
worth it.
city
You
and-
got your saved,
Yeah.
right?
I think that's what it is. I think you sell your soul when you need to be saved, but then all of a sudden now it's like, shoot, did we do too much? It's like I think we sold our soul when we tried to win the Europa League, and now we're paying for that. So but we'll see. I think if, like I said, he's been in this league, he knows what it's needed to be successful. So if these are the names that he's coming up with and targets, let's go for it. Any more transfers?
It can't get any worse, right?
Yeah, we could be 18th and be talking about selling everybody.
Yeah, I don't think there's any more transfers to think about. Yeah,
That was a lot of stuff going on in the first 4 days of the window, so you can expect a lot more coming, especially when these teams are not playing and these players are available to talk. So, because I think one of these guys either going to Inter Milan or something, or Bayern Munich, he got his physical, at the Morocco base camp. So they're still conducting business while the World Cup is going on.
Yeah.
So
that's what happened with Munoz. They went to the U.S. to do the physical and
Oh,
do
yeah, did they?
everything, and that was it, done. Because he's there with the Spanish team, but I think he's a little banged up, so I think he's just waiting to get full health to actually play. But yeah, that's what they're doing. The agents are going to the States now to get this stuff done.
And they're going to the States because the World Cup has kicked off and we have seen all the teams play. They've all played at least once. Some teams have played
Yes.
twice. Some teams have even qualified for the next round of 32. So let's get right into it. The World Cup USA. But before we do that, we're going to go into a quick hydration break. All right. Cue the commercials. The money making machine.
This is brought to you by.
This is
I
brought
forgot
to you
we were,
by American capitalism.
Yeah, and it's great because we're talking about football, and American football has 4 quarters. So there you go. That's what it's trying to be.
Yeah.
4 quarters, 3 minutes long.
Unless you're watching it on Telemundo and they're
Yes, which I
trying
finally
to-
did, and I hate the Spanish commentators, but I do like it. This is brought to you by so and so. So we're gonna keep no commercials here, and I like that. You get to see the players about the coach with
Yeah.
his laptop and everything. That's what you want to see. I don't want to see
Exactly.
commercials. That's what
because
I-
then when you play the commercials, all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, now we know why this is here. During the FIFA Club World Cup, they had commercials, but they would minimize the screen, right? And they'll have their advertisement on the side,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you still weren't taken away from the game because it's so weird watching the game. And all of a sudden, you look up or a commercial comes on, and you're like, damn, that's halftime already? No, that was quick.
yeah, exactly.
And they start playing, and you're like, wait, why is it 37 minutes? I thought this was halftime. And then you're like, oh, shoot, I forgot that. Because it's the sports, it's unthinkable. It's the basketball is such stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. Football is stop and go. I think football is
Yeah.
like 3 hours long, but the game time itself is only like 40 minutes, 30 minutes. And you're like, God damn. But it's like Van Dyke said, he's like, not all games need it. Just play through it. Like,
Exactly.
because
Some
and
play
now
indoors, air controlled, so they can
Yep.
control the temperature of it. You don't need the break. Keep it going. I mean, but then as we spoke before, I think it's like in the NBA. You whistle a timeout and you disrupt the person's momentum,
Yep.
or you can save yourself. That's what this hydration break is. Is basically you have a team who has this momentum, who just scored a goal, who's going at it, and then you get a timeout. You get your 3 minutes. The coach can assess real quick, give you a game
Yep.
plan. They got the screens, the cameras, everything recordings, and the game changes completely.
none of those players are being hydrated in 3 minutes. None of them. It's all just let's go over tactics. Your
Yeah,
hydration
exactly.
can wait. Because if I'm a manager, I'm saying we're not taking this time for you to drink water. you better listen to what I gotta say. Like,
Yeah.
if we
They
gotta
drink
make
water
changes,
when someone gets fouled. They're on the floor.
injury,
All right, real
exactly,
quick.
yeah.
You know, that's when you get your hydration real quick, and that's it. I mean, but then speaking about the foul, like the 1 minute thing, it's like very. I remember the Ecuador game. The guy Incapié was like yelling at the ref, like, "Bro, the minute is done," and the ref, the sideline, is just like ignoring him completely. So it's supposed to be 1 minute, but the guy's out there for like more than a minute. I think there's lots of miscommunication or something like that, but it is. And then today in the USA game, they're doing two substitutes were coming in. And then there's like, no, no, no. One of you guys, you got to wait outside for a minute. I was like, why? I was coming in for this player. This player already came out. So it's just miscommunication. So, but the refs don't even know what's going on. And it's just, I mean, I sort of like the 1 minute thing because it shows you, okay, you got to move it. They want to speed up the game, but you slow it down anyways because you do the hydration break.
Mhm.
So what is it that you want? And
It's money. Hydration break is just money.
it is what it is.
The other one is just to speed up the game. And people are like, this is the US. It is, but I think it's FIFA taking advantage
FIFA implemented the dynamic
because it's in the US.
pricing because of yes, exactly. They know
So
USA spends, so they're doing all these
Exactly.
things. So that's why it's making it seem like USA's doing all this, but in reality, it's just FIFA.
It's easy to blame the US, and I think we do it too because
Yeah.
this is how they treat this is how the US treats sports here in the US. But FIFA
That's why we're
is
getting a
the one-
halftime show.
Yeah,
That's why we're because
but
it's a
FIFA's
US
the
thing.
one out here. They're doing their part too. They're the ones saying, "Hey, we can get away with this."
Yeah.
But regardless, griping complaints. I still put it on every time it's the games are on, and I try to watch it. And I'm grateful because we're not watching it at middle of the night, 4 a.m. or at midnight. It's throughout the day, and it's like, damn, it's during work. It's kind of like how the Club World Cup was. You're like, damn, I'm watching this during work. But it's good though because sometimes there'll be a one game during work, and then the rest are after work. Or as soon as I'm getting home. Because for my time, I guess it's pretty late for you guys, right? The last game.
I remember the latest game I watched was like at midnight, and then there was
Yeah. Because there's a 10 o'clock game for
later.
me.
Yeah, but yeah,
No, I think the latest
I
game
try
for
to
me
watch
was
as
10.
much as I can,
Yeah.
but I wish I was back in like middle school or something because it would have been my summer break. I
That's
wouldn't have
right.
to worry about anything. Man, I'd be living the dream. But I try to watch, like you said, I try to watch as much as I can. Like today, I was at work sanding a board, and I'm just watching the game. All right, it's easy, but it is difficult when we're working at this time. So, but at least we get to see some games, at least 2 games.
Yeah. So the tournament kicked off with Mexico and South Africa. I think both teams ended up getting red cards. I think South Africa ended up with 9 players on the pitch and Mexico 10, with Mexico beating South Africa. And then you had Raul Jimenez scoring a header to kick off the tournament. And that stadium is so nice too. And then South Korea, I think Mexico has advanced already. South Korea looks like they'll probably advance out of that group too.
But it's looking good for the host nations, though. The host nations.
U.S. surprisingly looking. Mauricio Pochettino might be having the squad play pretty well. I was hesitant, but I had them as my early exit, and might be wrong. I think he proved me wrong. And seeing the way they played, they had, especially against Paraguay, they had a lot of
attacking.
I forgot what to say. Yeah, they just a lot of possession, attacking power. They had a lot of that ball movement that they had working well together as a team, and that's something that we haven't seen in the past where they didn't work. Individually they might have been good players, but as a team they were lacking something. And I felt like that was going to be the same case, especially seeing some of their friendlies. But they've actually kind of turned it up a notch, and I'm excited
I think
to
it's
see.
just different when you're actually in the World Cup, even though you're playing friendlies in the USA. It's different. That atmosphere and everything is just like, this is legit. And the players that are supposed to start, like Pulisic, Adams, McKinney, they all just show up, and it's great. The goalkeeper, Matt Freese, I think is his first major tournament, and he's not like shell shocked. He's actually composed and everything. But again, they were against Paraguay, and today was against Australia. He didn't see much, but still, it's a clean sheet. It's good. It's good for the morale. It's good
clean
for the
sheet, and they advanced to 30 to the. So Mexico and U.S. have advanced.
Yeah,
so what are some teams? Yeah. I mean, that's because of schedule, but yeah. So, what are some surprises that surprised you so far in this first round of games?
To be, I have to give it up to like the small countries, like a lot of like Qatar, for example. They scored a goal. They got a point out of it. Cape Verde with the 40-year-old goalkeeper holding off Spain. That's
Spain.
impressive. And we thought it was going to be like Germany and Curacao. Thought it was going to be a 7-1 thriller, but nothing. I think all the small teams that we were like taking for granted are showing up. They're not just here to participate. They actually want to make a statement, and I think that's well. But I wouldn't call it a surprise. But I think Japan,
Yeah.
they always seem to play at a certain
What's
level. But to do
surprising
it
about
against
that game
Netherlands,
was the fact that you scored a header against Netherlands when they're
exactly.
all over 6 foot, and you're talking. And no offense to Japan, I got their jersey
Yeah.
back here too of the Blue Samurais, but even the commentator was like,
Why are you crossing?
"Why they must think they're taller than they really are because they keep crossing it in the middle." And would you know it? The
Yeah.
tying goal is a header from a corner from Japan, and you're like,
I
and they play very well. That was one I
Yeah,
think so far
exactly.
that Netherlands Japan game is one of my favorite games of the tournament so far. The most exciting game
Yeah.
I've seen.
And I did pick Netherlands to maybe be the early exit. So just saying. I mean, out of that
It
group, you
could be
got Sweden, who got 3 points.
who destroyed it. They beat Tunisia so bad that that their manager got fired. But Sweden actually looked really good. Graham Potter's got him playing very well too.
Isak on point. You just need him to be on point at Liverpool like that. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's gonna be a tough group.
England looked really good too. England actually looked very composed, very threatening. I feel like they knocked some run stuff. I mean, I would hate to be waiting to be the last group to play and have those nerves build up, but I think they played. Norway looked good. Portugal, I don't know. I don't know about
Glad you went there. I was waiting because some of the, like I said, some of the big teams disappointed. Spain,
Yeah.
what,
Oh
Belgium,
yeah.
if you consider them big.
Not anymore.
Brazil,
So yeah.
what's it called? But Portugal. I love what Henry said. Portugal needs to score, not you. If Ronaldo with, but that is again, you got Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes, who are both
Yeah.
selfish. I feel like you can't deal with those two. Ronaldo should have done the dummy and let Bruno have it. Because like Henry said, that would have took the defender away, and he had a clear shot. And I love what I think what is it, Neves who said, at the end
Oh
he's
yeah.
like
João Neves.
Ronaldo, yeah, Ronaldo is here to contribute like everyone else, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's facts.
Yep.
That's Ronaldo. Everyone's trying to compare it to Argentina and Messi. Like Argentina wants to play for Messi, but Messi, I think, he's unselfish. He's humble in a way. Ronaldo, he has like that arrogance to him.
He
He
does.
going, and
It's
I
like he's
wouldn't
trying
want
to
to play
prove
for that.
that. Yeah.
He
It's
wants
like
he
he's trying
wants
to.
100. He wants 1,000 goals so badly
Yeah.
that he's willing to compromise the team to do it by himself.
And it's funny because João Neves has done more recently at a higher level than he has. He won the Champions League twice back to back with PSG.
And then Roberto Martinez is trying to defend Ronaldo's like, well, he's the leading scorer, yes, but that was at what point in his career? He went to the Saudi league to do what? He said it's a better league. No, let's just be honest. You went there for money.
Yeah.
It's not a better league. Yeah, you can score over there, but guess who else is scoring over there? A bunch of people. It's not the same caliber as let's say Bruno Fernandes in Manchester United in the Premier League, in La Liga One, the Bundesliga, and so and so. Yes, Ronaldo is your leading scorer, but he hasn't scored in for how many games for Portugal so far? So why you put him in? There's better
Yeah.
players. If you want to win, Ronaldo's got to be benched. There you go.
Because he doesn't get the same calls that Messi does. Because Messi should have been sent off with a red card. But hey, we're not going to talk about that.
But then again, it's money. People want to watch Ronaldo. People want to watch Messi. If they're out of the game because of a red card, you're going to watch. You probably sell your tickets real quick because, Messi ain't going to play.
Let's say I'm trying to look up something before I say it. Make sure I'm going to fact check myself.
Ooh, okay. No
But
fake
like you
news.
said, Ronaldo plays in the Saudi league, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think he's even the top scorer. I think the top scorer in the Saudi league is Julian Quinones, the guy that scored the first goal in the World Cup for Mexico. He's actually has 33 goals. Let's see who's second. Ivan Tony with 32, and then it's Cristiano Ronaldo with 28. So even in his league that he thinks is the hardest, he's still not the best, you know. And
No.
it just goes to show that your status is going to run out, your arrogance is going to start kicking in, and
Yeah.
you need to be careful because you could drag the whole team with you. Like I said, John Nieves and some of those other players on that team has done a lot more on a bigger stage than you have lately. So, and I think it is. I
Hey,
think he, like you said, he's
you can still win the World Cup. Just you can do it on the bench or coming on as a super sub. There you go.
yeah.
Doesn't matter how you get it, as long as you get it, right? You ain't gonna do
Yeah.
that Messi, carry your team. He can't carry the team anymore.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly. I don't think either of them can carry their teams anymore. I think Argentina still. Who do they play? They played Algeria.
Yeah. I still want to talk about Zidane.
I didn't know he was a goalkeeper. I was like, wait, that's the same Zidane. And I was like, oh yeah, it is. And then you just see him point to him, and he's all disappointed. I thought he played for the French team. His son plays for Algeria.
He could, but I think he didn't want to be in his father's shadow. So he went to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but still, you're not gonna be in your father's shadow. You're a goalkeeper.
Yeah, right.
And not a very good one. Sorry.
Then maybe that's the reason why. Well, if I go play for Algeria, I'll actually play.
So what team do you think disappointed you the most out of the big teams?
Spain. I think the fact that you couldn't score on Cape Verde.
Yeah, Cape Verde.
The fact that you have the squad that you have compared to them, I think one of the guys on that team was like a part-time accountant, and he got a message through like LinkedIn and he thought it was a scam, and then he realized, oh no, this is real. And it's no dig on them. Glad they're here playing, but Spain they've won this before. They've won the Euros before. They've been here. They have one of the best young talents, and I know they had some.
And he was on the bench. I think they were like cocky. They're like, we don't need him. We can beat this team as is. And they were wrong. It cost them.
I was gonna say the best from Real Madrid, but you get the one is Cucurella. He came last minute. You got the best from like Barcelona. Like that team is made of Barcelona players. And one of the best Spanish teams, the players in that was a tongue twister. And then the rest of them come from top level leagues and teams. Right? So the fact that they couldn't score once, I don't know. Look at Germany. They scored 7. And, they get scored on once, but it goes to show that they can still have the firing power. And then Brazil is another one. Brazil, I feel like Brazil is going to have a hard time, even though they're up 3-0 right now on Haiti. But Morocco's a good team. So I guess you can't really say much about that. I think Morocco and Turkey, they didn't look too good, but they're a lot of people's dark horses. But it's exciting. I'm excited to watch this. I feel bad for the Iranian team, though. They drew to New Zealand because they had what's his name, Chris Wood scored a few times. No, he didn't score. Chris Wood didn't score.
But then again, there's controversy with Iran. Like they're not allowed to hold their flags.
Oh yeah, because
FIFA comes down and
because they're saying that it's not the right flag, but
so much more.
What did you think about the French team? Did you watch that?
I did watch it, but like I said, Barcola comes on as a sub and he scores, makes an immediate impact. Senegal played well. They were holding on, but then once the goal goes through, there's not much you can do. But that's what I expected from them, and honestly, that's what I expected from Spain, Brazil. These big teams, the Netherlands. But that's why I picked France to win it, and Senegal is a tough team, and they are to do that. And I just feel like who's next for them in this group? They have a tough group too. Oh yeah, they have. Who do they have?
So the next they'll be playing.
Oh, they got Norway and Iraq.
Yeah.
So it's doable now. I think Norway was going to be their toughest match. Then you got the Kylian Mbappe versus Erling Haaland debate matchup right there. But yeah, I just think France is going to go all the way. That's what you want to see. They didn't have any hiccups. They were there ready to play and to get, was it 3-1, I guess? Yeah,
3-1. Because Mbappe scored twice and then Barco. Yeah.
And that's what you want. You want your star player, Mbappe, to score. And if he's on fire, then you know what? He's going to carry that team. And of course, like you said, we got Barcola, you got Dembele, you got Doué, you got... That was funny. They were saying, like, I don't know how you get 10 all-stars and you got Rabiot in the team. But yeah, that's what it is. They got 11 all-stars. And they're going to find a way to win.
There's a lot of people criticizing Turkey's going with the French squad and how he kind of he would be appreciated somewhere else because he came off the bench. I don't know if he came on. He started, right? Yeah, he came on like the 80th something minute, and they're like, "Oh, you should have gone to this team, to your other team that you were eligible to go to." Because I don't know if it's Morocco or something. Could just be.
But that's the thing. It's like a lot of the Senegal players could probably play for the French team. There's a lot of what's it called? Inflation. No, a lot of teams that are from Africa who are parents or born there or whatever. So they have the ability to play for France, but they're probably thinking the same thing. I'm gonna be more appreciated in this said country than in France. Because let's be honest, to get into the France national team, it's gonna be hard.
He could be playing for Algeria. I was
After
close.
seeing Zidane as a goalkeeper, he's like, I'm glad
never
I
mind.
picked France.
Yeah. I mean, that's true because you have the opportunity, to win the World Cup.
That's what I remember. Giuseppe Rossi. He was Italian, but he was also, I think, born in the U.S. USA was trying to get him, but he chose Italy because why? Because he had the better chance of getting a World Cup. But then he got kicked off the squad, and then he had his injury crisis, and then retired. But that's what people are gonna do. Honestly, you're gonna pick your best option. Like, what was the Colombian player that you were talking about? I think he chose Spain instead of Colombia, or was it?
Oh, Mascara.
Yeah.
So Mascara, he plays for Arsenal. They're one of the center backs. He's playing for Spain. He didn't get called up, but he grew up in Spain, so that's one thing. And then there's the Julian Quinones, who actually plays for Mexico right now. He was born in Colombia. He's born in Colombia, but I think he moved to Mexico at a young age. He became a Mexican national, and he switched over to play for the Mexican national team. And now he's playing the World Cup. It's one thing, he was valued there. They said, hey, you're going to get your game time. We want you to play for us. And that makes a difference. But looking at some of these future matches that are actually, after seeing everybody play, now I know what I'm more excited to watch. You got Netherlands, Sweden coming up. Yeah, Germany, Ivory Coast. That's a good one. Let's see here. Norway, Senegal,
Uruguay,
England,
and Spain should be good as well.
Oh, yeah.
So Mexico and
Japan, Sweden.
That would be another good one. At that point,
France, Norway, Uruguay, Spain. Yeah. Some good games coming up. Colombia, Portugal. Yeah, that's I'm waiting for that one. That's gonna be a good one.
And then after that, it's gonna be the knockout round, and that's gonna be, oh my god, it's gonna be the best time. And because we have 32, so it's gonna be more games.
Yeah.
And then
I wonder what this is gonna do to our players.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be rough. But then I was reading about is like the best eight third place teams. Yep. The way to decide it is, it's based on goal difference, goals scored, your fair play, and FIFA ranking. They take all those things into consideration because there's gonna be and points as well. But but that's gonna be the tiebreaker because how many teams are gonna be on the same points?
Yeah. There's gonna be a few, but
so that's
there's gonna be a bunch on one
to get the tiebreaker. So because I was wondering, like, how are they gonna decide which best 8 to choose from? But then that's what they're gonna do with all those criterias. So at least you have an idea. So now I'm hoping, all right, don't get any yellow cards because I think that's going to be our option for Ecuador because USA already qualified. And so it's like, yeah. So there's still hope.
Well, I think that's an episode, huh?
That's it. We can quit this and then we can go finish watching the game, right? Brazil's up.
Brazil.
We can close it up.
Because there's Brazil is playing, and then we are going to watch Turkey against Paraguay. All right. Man. Yeah, let's do it. Close it out, and then
and remember, guys, I believe that we will win. Nah, just kidding.
I believe that we will win.
We'll get into the knockout. Well, I mean, we'll make a run, but that's it. America.
Right, all right. So that is another episode of Rivals on the Pitch, World Cup edition, transfer news edition, whatever you want to call it, off-season edition. Kits are starting to come out. Here in maybe July, we'll do our official home kit rankings once again. We'll see how bad Pat's his taste in clothes is.
Okay.
But we'll keep covering some of this World Cup, keep covering some of this transfer news, any team news that's coming out, and keep y'all informed on what's going on. I think that's it. So let us know what team you're supporting in this World Cup. Let us know if your team's not there, who you're supporting, and who you want your club to sign this summer. that, we'll see you next time. I'm Alan.
And I'm Randy. See ya.
Come on, you Spurs. And follow on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Tell a friend. Share us. Bye.
Sharing is caring. Do it.